What's up, guys? We're out here in the shop today, and it is a hot one. I'm soaking wet. I'm sweating. I'm pouring sweat. I think the heat index today is like 108. It's hot here in South Carolina. But we're about to dive deep into the race car because at the last MB Drift event, me and my buddy had nothing but problems out of both of our cars. It was a struggle. That's for sure. That event was a struggle, but that's part of racing. That's part of drifting. That's just how it is sometimes. You just can't expect every event to be perfect. But MB Drift threw an awesome event. Hands out to them. It's always a great time at Rockingham Speedway. Always. They always throw the best events. But back to the car. I am about to pull the stock fuel cell out of this thing, and I'm going to build a rear firewall. And I'm going to cut the back half of the floor pan out, and we're going to build a frame for a fuel cell. Try to keep all the smoke out of the cab because I had a scary situation because it's getting to where there's so much smoke in the cab, the faster and faster I get and the more confident I get with my driving. And it's getting to where it's kind of dangerous. So I'm going to try and fix that. I'm going to put a fuel cell in it because I am tired of this car fuel cutting. I've had that problem since I've owned it for the past year. So, yeah. So... well, let's dive deep in it. We got a lot of work to do. Working alone, you got to make things happen. Ain't that right, Paco? Late nights is hard for a dog in the shop. Well, finally got the tank and the rear subframe out of the car. She's bare up under here now. So this is why I like doing stuff to this car, because there's a lot of things that a person that built this car I really don't like. Like, I really want to ditch all these stock fuel lines that are just dangling. They've always been kind of loose, and I just never got around to fixing them for some reason. And then all this janky wiring, I hate it, man. And like, there's stuff like this where they had leaking fuel lines. These are just vents. But still, I mean, the car always reeked of gas. So I don't know if it was fumes. I never seen any signs of it actually leaking, but I just got tired of smelling fumes. But the bottom of the car is not too bad. This car has definitely been in a wreck before because all this is crinkled back here. But we're going to cut this whole floor pan up against this cross member and completely gut the whole floorboard in the back, and then build our own little frame for a fuel cell. And also, not to mention, I can fix all these little holes in the floor that I really wanted to fix forever, but I never could do it because it's right over top of the gas tank. So I'm excited to do that. Go ahead and paint this thing, give it a coat of paint. And also, it opens up all this room here that was never here. That way I don't have to worry about the exhaust and the drive shaft being so tight like it used to be. So, yep, and I'm also gonna patch up these holes, fill these holes so I don't need them anymore. And I'm gonna have to run all new fuel lines, but it'll be much better than it is now. Well, the intimidating process has begun, as you've seen in the past clip. I have started cutting out the floor pan in the car, and I'm going to try and build a metal frame. I'm going to leave the floor open, I think. I think that's my plan. I'm not quite sure yet. We're going to go as it. We're going to decide as we go, pretty much. But as you can see, the tubing here, I actually did that after buying the car because the frame rails were so crinkled up that the bash bar actually started dragging the ground, and the exhaust was welded to the bash bar, and the exhaust started dragging the ground. So we had to fix that a while back, and I had plans to do this then, but I ran out of time and resources, so we're doing it now, and hopefully it comes out good. I'm gonna keep on keeping on. Well, I didn't film much yesterday. I pretty much just put my head down and grinded all day. But I got some pretty good progress done. I got this floor pan put in. It's so hard to build to this car because it's been, as you can see, it's been mangled so many times. It's been beat and pushed and pulled and wrecked again. So yeah, we're making some good progress. Got the floor pan in. Trying to work with this bent up car is kind of tough. But this is actually the mount for the tank to sit in. And then I think I'm gonna put my battery here. But I also got, as you can see, I got the holes patched for the stock tank. Those are patched up. I also worked on this yesterday and patched these holes to try and keep the smoke out the car. I got this side done as well. I wish I would have filmed more, but I was focused on, it don't look the best, but it's getting covered up with a fender, so it really doesn't matter. I was trying to make it as tight as I could. But yeah, it's coming out pretty good. We're working on it, getting it. Got the whole back half cut off. We're making progress. It's tedious work. I'm not used to doing this tedious work, but it's coming along. I'm learning as I go. It's the first time I've ever done this. So we're pretty much learning as we go. We're getting a little bit better at things, cutting and fitting as we go. It's definitely a learning curve, but we'll keep you updated as I go on. This video really doesn't do it justice of how long this took me. It took me forever to get the arch right for the back window. I must have opened and closed this trunk 100 times. Well, that took a minute. I think I got it fitting the way I want it to, though. I think I'm happy with it. I think I'm about to layer out on the metal, trace it out, and cut it and see how it fits. I think I'm going to have to do it in 2 pieces because there's no way to get it in all these crevices without doing 2 pieces, doing one side first and the other side first. So I'm not sure if I'm going to rivet it down the middle for looks or I'm just going to tack weld it. I'm not sure yet, but it turned out pretty good. I also have to still figure out how I'm going to mount my battery, probably on that side. I would like to do it on the other side of the firewall right here, but it shouldn't be that bad to get to if I put it right there. I don't know. We'll play with it. It's coming out good, though. Well, I got the panels cut and cleaned up, ready to go in the car. I just gotta clean the trunk out and put them in there. This is a before, after. Actually turned out pretty good. I'm happy with it. Keep in mind, I'm gonna change this noodle. This is just temporary because that's what I had laying around. I'm gonna get a black one, maybe a little bigger, add a little more sealant to the back window. I'm also going to cut this back window where it meets the firewall. That way I can pull some air through the back side of this car, maybe suck some of the smoke out to help also. But that's the fuel cell bolted in. Turned out pretty good. I'm also going to put some bracing in for here to here. for the back of the car that I built. It's coming pretty good though. It's coming along pretty good. I still got to plumb the whole fuel system. I got to weld this in. It's just loose at the moment, but actually it actually fits really well. It turned out pretty darn good. Well, as you've seen, the subframe is now back in the car. Everything seems to fit good. I'm glad nothing pulled, which I didn't think it would, but you never know with this welding stuff, especially with cutting cross members out like I did. But we have all the room in the world now without the stock tank in there. I still got to paint everything, of course. I just wanted to put the drive shaft in there to see really how much room I have now. It's kind of nice. It's kind of peace of mind that there's not a gas tank right over top of your drive shaft while you're drifting. But as you see, all the floor pans cut out. This is the bottom side of the tank. But I put this new cross member in because the floor pan, man, the car is just so wadded up. It's so bent up and so hard to build to. But I'm thinking about plating here to cover up all the ugly. But there's the frame I built for the gas tank, all the brackets and everything. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it the way it turned out. Still gonna put some bracing in here, of course, but it's coming along nicely. It's nice to have the subframe back in it. It's not trying to fall off the lift anymore. Paco! As you can see, the hurricane is upon us, but that don't stop us. We're still out here grinding in the shop trying to get this car done. We got some metal marked up laying here. I think I'm gonna build a battery box. That way I can get rid of that plastic junk that I had in here. I'm thinking I'm gonna put it here in front of the firewall that's gonna sit right here. I think we're gonna cut a hole in the floorboard right here and set it in the floorboard, and I'm gonna make some mounts out of some long threaded rod to actually hold the battery down. So yeah, we're gonna get to work on that. See how this battery fits. Should be pretty good. I still gotta make the tabs and hold it in, but oh yeah. Right there. That's gonna be perfect. I'm gonna weld a tab here and a tab here with some threaded rod and the flat bar here to hold the battery down. We'll be good to go. Hey, that turned out great. Well, I ended up having to run a new brake line because when I was grinding and cutting, I accidentally hit that brake line right there, but I got it all rebuilt, put back together. All you car guys watching know the struggle here. I have no one here to help me bleed the brakes, so I took a ratchet strap, tied it to the roll bar and to hold it back while I bleed it. But it's working pretty good. Well guys, it's been a few days since I picked the camera up last time, but I've been working on the car, and these are the fuel lines that I pulled out. I completely rerun all brand new fuel lines, feed and return, and this was the way that the previous owner done the return lines. I don't really like that. It was wrapped up under a bunch of heat shield, but and not to mention they were sitting right next to the header. That would explain my fuel pressure problems after the car would heat soak. Also the AN lines were dragging the ground and rubbing and kinked right there and right there. The way they had them run, they had them kinked everywhere. But hopefully with all the new add-ons, it does a whole lot better. I also redid the whole taillight wiring. It's hanging right now, but I'm gonna tie it up and make it look good when it's all painted and good to go. I didn't want to do anything until after I painted it. But got the battery all wired in, got everything, got the fuel pump wired. We're covering it up so we don't get no overspray on the car. We're still working on that. But everything's starting to come out pretty good. We're gonna start laying down some paint on this thing in the next clip. Make everything one color, and it should look pretty good when everything's said and done. Hopefully we get this thing ready by this weekend. As you just seen, the car is finally completely back together. It's been a lot of work. The past 2 weeks have kicked my behind, but the car looks good. It's all the way back together. Everything's painted, everything's installed. I do have to throw the seats in it still, but other than that, everything's ready to go. Runs good, holds good fuel pressure. Didn't find any leaks. Car sounds phenomenal. Can't wait to drive this thing. We actually have a gender reveal this coming weekend for a good buddy of mine, and he wants me to do a big smoky burnout colored powder for him to do a gender reveal. And I've actually never done a standstill burnout in this car, so we're about to pull it in this bay right here and do a good little burnout to practice for the closing in this video. Peace out. Thank y'all for watching. We got LS Fest in Kentucky mid-September. I'm gonna try to make it linear by the end of the year, and probably MB Drift. So stay tuned, got plenty of action planned for the rest of the year.